How's it going, YouTube? I'm gonna do a little something different today. I got a '06 Dodge Ram 2500. I've been waiting to put in a reverse backup camera in. It's been a while. It's hard to see back there, and when you're hooking up a trailer off and on infrequently or even frequently by yourself, jumping in and out of the truck's not the right answer. So I'm hooking up a little small camera, and in fact it's gonna be it's off Amazon. It was 60 bucks. TOGUARD, something like that. And I'll put a link to it. But it has a built-in camera, Dashcam, and a backup camera. So if you're with the world going the way it is, having a Dashcam is probably the best thing to do right now. And besides, for 60 bucks, it could go wrong. So I haven't seen any good videos on what to do, so I've been out here all day trying to figure out what to run and where to run it. And first things first, when you get the package, when you get anything, dash cam or running rear lights, running anything, make sure you got enough wire. The kit that I purchased, it has approximately 10 feet of wire. They also sell an aftermarket one that has 15 feet of wire in it. So I went ahead and bought that, and I definitely was not going to have enough with the 10 feet with my MegaCab and my standard bed. So glad I picked that up. Memory card is not included, so I needed to pick that up. And of course, make sure you get wire loom. You want to protect the wires you're running. A lot of vibrations down there. I got a little stock tires, but they're knobby. So you want to make sure that all the work you're going to do is going to be protected. You don't want anything chafing and grounding out. Yeah, let's get to it. So this is the visor itself. Here's the backup camera. I don't know if I like this mount at all. We'll see what we can do with it. Here's the power cable, and then here's the unwound video camera cable with the rear connector here, but like I said, I'm going to use the extended one. So we're going to start plugging some of this stuff in and go from there. So my plan is to have it come in here and go up the A-arm, pull this pillar here, and then I can just run it right over to where that's going to be mounted. It's an in mirror, so it's a mirror that adds on to that mirror. All right, and yeah, I'll show you the back end. And anybody who has backup, or this Ram has some LED lights back here. So what I did was just ran those and tied them in with the trailer. So what I'm going to do is when I install my camera, I'll have the wires come over and tap in as well. And for my truck, the 06 Ram MegaCab, that is a white with green stripe wire. So working on the A-pillar is really easy. Just gonna use a can opener, paint can opener on the top here, push in, be gentle not to mar up. Now that you have this lowered, you're going to jump in there with the 10mm, pop those right out. Quick little pull down. That's going to release quick fashion clips. You're going to pull up towards the top of the cab, And here's these little grommets here. That's that quick out away from the side of the truck towards the passenger side. You're going to be pulling up towards the top of the hood. Now that's out. I'll show you what you're looking at. And so coming up from inside, we're just going to run those wires up along the A-pillar. We're going to find a spot in the hood, or I should say the headliner, and we'll follow that down all the way to the rear. So real quick, what we're going to do is pop out the 3 screws holding the visor on, and those are a Torx bit 20. So the visor has electronics hooked to it because it's a lighted visor. We don't need to disconnect that. That alone right there gives us the room to get that small wire up in here all the way over to the rear view mirror. Now, there's a holder and there's a center console, if you want to call it that, the center console for the main display. I think that's small enough. We'll just pack the wires up behind the headliner. Too easy. Once this goes back out, there will be just enough tension to keep everything where it needs to be. And when we run everything, we'll run it back behind there. So definitely snug enough. Well, my failures is your plus. I thought I'd be able to sneak the wires into the headliner, just right up in here. Apparently that's not going to work. So I started pulling down the headliner. This here is the headliner. And if you see these kind of rotate in here when you press, if you have a Dodge at all, you'll know you press this light fixture and it clicks. Right here, there's a little pivot, and the keeper is on this end, the aft and the rear side of the truck. So if you take and push that in with a small set of flathead and push that forward and pull it down at the same time, they'll pop right out, both of them. You'll have a T20 screw in there, and once you pull that out, it should come down a little bit. And then all you need to do is just pop it down. All right, we'll do that, and we'll keep going and let you guys know how it goes. I'll catch up at the end in a second. All right, guys, a little update for you. Actually starting to get this thing, at least the center console, back together. Pretty much same way you take it out, you put it back in. Quick little note on these guys right here. It's really weird. You take the outer shell, you pull down on that, and it doesn't look like anything, right? You pull down harder, and it feels like you're just gonna break it. It really does. I was using trusty old grandpa's paint can opener again. I know it's the worst thing to use when you're doing trim tabs and trim. You should get a trim tool. Anyways, pulled down on that as hard as I could, and holy cow, felt like I was gonna break it. Came down. So I'm gonna get that done. Opposite side, I still gotta screw in those T200s or T20s visors, but check that out. So I'm going to screw 3 T20s screws in. I'll get that A-pillar back in over on the driver's side, and I'll give you a quick update after that. All right, guys. Thanks for tagging along. So we got the A-pillar back put on. I'm going to pull on that visor up and in. Be sure you pay attention to which it's got a little tilt to it, so make sure you're getting the right tilt to it, or else you're going to be putting on it a couple times. And let's come out here. So what I like to do is I wire loom like crazy. I like to have wire loom. So I ran all that stuff. It's all been wire loomed. Quick little hint for anybody who's running wire loom: kind of zip it together, bend it and push it together where the splice is in the loom and your wire. Just kind of just bend it together. It's really hard to explain, but if you give it a crack a couple of times, you figure it out pretty easy. So yeah, it's all set, ready to go. I'm just going to run this down along the firewall, probably right along where the brake lines run, and keep it up on the frame. I'm on the opposite side of the exhaust, so I don't have to worry about heat. And yeah, I'm going to run it around next to other wires and brake lines, so it should be a lot of safe going. Just kind of keep it up away from anything moving. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it to you guys, but lots of zip ties. Get lots of zip ties in there. Actually, I had to go pick up some new ones. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next little while. Go ahead and cut off the video so you don't have to watch me zip tie and stuff. All right, catch you in a bit. So one thing I did not mention was I had prior made arrangements and thoughts to go through a grommet. That changed when I couldn't get the head of the video cable through it, and I didn't want to mess with the grommet any. So what I did was, where you can see right now is a top right corner of the video, there's a plate there, a plastic plate you can drill through and run wire through that. So that's what I decided to do. I left the wire loom around it through that, and I'll be adding silicone to that here shortly. But that is an option for your firewall that is safe to go around or actually through to get wire around the cab in and out of the cab area. And again, down here, I'm just running that wire as close as I can for the rear wiring harness, the trailer wiring harness. I'm just mimicking its trail, its path. So I'm going along with it, pretty much zip tied, if not next to it, on it. And yeah, it came out real good. So a little technical area. at the transition section between the cab and the bed, I had to go along the side of the frame and then pop back up onto it. Went for a little while and dropped down in between the frame and the fuel tank. It took me a minute to get around or through the fuel tank, but what I found was, again, just followed that wiring harness that was for the rear and just kind of came below it and worked out perfect. Once you get down underneath there and look, you'll see it's hard to point out here, and it would just look crazy. So get underneath your trucks, check it out, you'll see what I'm talking about. Well, it's all said and done. I finished running the wires back to the back of the truck with the extended cable for TOGUARD or TOGUARD. Was able to go down the A-pillar, down to the firewall, and then back. I did not run it through the cab at all, which makes for a lot of dust underneath, but was able to go along the frame, followed the standard routing of the cables back to the back right next to them, alongside the fuel tank and the inside of the frame, able to steer away from anything moving. Once it got down back to the rear, I followed the cabling still, was able to get over around the shocks and everything, and around the back spare tire and over to the center of the vehicle. I was really worried it was going to be close, but I think I ended up with maybe 8 inches extra. So not a lot of room to mess with. That's why I kind of wanted to get down underneath the vehicle, get straight back. I tend to mess with a lot of the routing when I start getting into the vehicle, especially into the cabin. When I've installed audio systems, I've used up a lot extra cable that way. Plugged it in, cleaned it up, wire loomed everything, turned it on, turns on. I'll do a little video snippet here in a second. Pretty much looks great. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have approximately, it should get here tomorrow. It doesn't come with a memory card, so plug that in there, format it, and I should be good to go. All right, ladies and gents, be good, and I'll get you a video here shortly. All right, so starting on the vehicle. So that's pretty darn cool. And it's touchscreen, so if you need to get into settings or anything like that, you're able to do so. everything you need to do. And yes, it's actually 12:44 at night. Date, time, stamps, everything for you. You can actually take a quick photograph too, I guess. So yeah. All right, ladies and gents, I'll play with it and give you a review in a few days. Hey guys, want to do a quick little update. Took my truck for the first drive today after getting all that installed. Literally today is the next day. Got the memory card self-formatted, set everything up. I like it. I really do. The mirror's got tint to it, and yeah, it should look pretty good at night.